Welcome, everyone. It's always good to see us all in one room as we come back to start the fall semester. And it's good to know, too, that many people in the Webster University community can see us through video stream and will join us either simultaneously or when they watch it later. Community. That's the topic I want to focus on in my remarks today. What it is about our different perspectives and our different points of view, our different experiences that bind this community. What is it that gives us our individual sense of identity and our collective sense of our identity? What it is about our biases, and biases can be both good and bad, and how that affects our sense of who Webster is and who we are in the world of Webster. And so what does that all mean? How do those biases, how does our sense of identity, how does all of that compel action and our ability to move forward and advance Webster University's mission? But first, I want to show you a brief video. More normally on this stage, you know that I'm joined by our Provost and Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, Julian Schuster, but I'll let him explain.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I am very sorry that I am unable to be present with you this afternoon. As many of you, I thoroughly enjoy being a part of Convocation. This is not just a beginning of a new academic year or a new semester. This is more than that. It is an opportunity for Webster community to come together, to exchange ideas, and to chart the next chapter of our history. However, I hope that I have a good excuse for not being present this afternoon. Earlier in June, I have been selected by the Secretary of Defense to participate in the Joint Civilian Orientation Conference. Joint Civilian Orientation Conference is a unique opportunity for a small number of community and business leaders to participate in a conference aimed to understanding operations of our military and Department of Defense better. As you know, military sector is an extremely important part of the Webster's operations. More than 20% of the total graduate credit hours are generated by the military and military-related sectors. Understanding the needs of our military, understanding the way how our military operates, is a key for our continued success in serving that important part of our constituencies. Naturally, I'm excited about this unique opportunity, and I look forward to sharing all of the experiences that I have gained in this short period of time so that we can, at Webster University, serve these important constituencies better and more efficiently. Have a wonderful convocation, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
As we're gathered as a community in this room and everywhere that Webster students make home, each one of us can look to the past year, the past academic year, even over the summer, and point to very specific examples of moments of tremendous joy and celebration and extreme satisfaction as we met the need of an individual student, a group of students, colleagues, members of the community, and we did that as individuals or we did that as members of teams. The crescendo of all those wonderful moments of serving students' needs, of course, happens at commencement. And whether we're looking about the Muni and thinking about that grand celebration at the Muni, or the celebrations that happen in commencements at every single campus across the United States and internationally, these are wonderful moments for the Webster community. This past summer, members of Administrative Council and Provost Council have been very intentional about attending as many of these commencements outside St. Louis as possible. And what we can tell you, those of us who have traveled to these various commencements, whether it was Denver or Washington, D.C., or Louisville or Accra or Shanghai, all the places where Webster students graduate. What we can tell you is that to a person, a Webster graduate is proud of the program that they have finished. They're proud of what they've achieved. And secondly, They are grateful to you as faculty and staff for the support and the success you have helped them create. That is absolutely something that we should all take pride in, and I thank you for what you do every single day to advance Webster's mission of meeting a need. Well, at the same time, we certainly can look over the past year and know that just as there were moments of joy and tremendous celebration, there were moments of disappointment, heartbreak, horror, as we saw firsthand in our communities, the bias, the conflicts, the discrimination, terror, leading not just to diminished opportunity and deprived futures, but tragic loss of life. And when those things happen, we often experience a feeling of being helpless to make things better, and we're angry. As members of this community, we make our homes in communities all over the globe, and those recent global tragic events touch us. They have global impact and they have local impact. And they cause us to reflect on that timeless question of who is my neighbor? At the time of the mass shooting in Orlando, Florida this summer, I wrote a brief message on this topic, which you will still find on the front page of our website, and I repeat these words. Our focus on global citizenship, on developing a global mindset, should open us to be changed by the world at the same time we become world changers. Once we accept that we are all connected, we can then work together for a solution with the belief that tolerance and understanding will prevail over violence and hatred. Well, since the Orlando shooting, we have come to associate more and more place names: St. Paul, Nice, Baton Rouge, Dallas, Munich, Istanbul, Tokyo, Wuhan, Milwaukee, with loss of life, pain, and sorrow. The emotions that those of us who are St. Louis-based associated 2 years ago with the name Ferguson are present with us today and are now and forever joined with the names of so many others. I recall when Judge Jimmy Edwards spoke at the Webster Staff Alliance Professional Development Day, his memorable words, "We are all Ferguson." To make that statement is to commit to a shared identity, a shared heritage, a shared future. Saying we are all Ferguson embraces and expresses a community of kinship. The evocative memory of a place or places is an experience that I would think many of us have. Sometimes it's for the places of our birth or where we grew up as children, a favorite vacation spot, or a place where some significant life event happened. Haven't we all interacted with Webster students who, because of an interaction with a place new to them, were transformed to have greater empathy for those who resided in that place? That's why it's necessary, in my opinion, that we each interact with others whose lived experiences and points of view are different from our own. That's how you grow in human connection and build a human community and act in ways that surpass self. What implications, then, does it have for us to say, we are all Orlando, or we are all Nice, or we are all Wuhan? Just as that question of who is my neighbor compels thought and action on my part, these recent events have raised more questions than answers. And as my thinking is progressing, I want to share some observations today that I'm forming about several pairs of concepts: community and identity, diversity and inclusion, stigma, and bias. So to bring the topic of community and identity closer to home, and the thoughts I'm sharing today are not mine alone. They come from many members of the Webster University community as I've been talking with you about these topics over recent months. But right here in Webster Groves, I want to highlight an important conversation that's been launched in our local community by Webster Rock Hill Ministries and the KWRHLP radio station, 92.9 FM. Tune in if you haven't. And it's affectionately called Radio 63119. Well, several of us at Webster attended this community forum on July 23rd to discuss the barriers and the ways forward to build 63119 as a more inclusive community. Almost instantly, the question of who is my neighbor was raised by one of the conveners, and we met in small groups to develop queries around that question, and more than one small group asked the organizers, and in turn each of us, well, what do you mean by community? In my small group, citizens of 63119 reflected on their identities and their family members, and they said, well, truthfully, we're not always welcome in 63119. A single woman, a parent of a biracial child, a father, several members of families that were not native to Webster Groves shared similar experiences. And one member of our group volunteered this insight, that the lack of inclusion, the lack of feeling included, but the desire to feel included and the desire to feel valued and welcomed causes people actually to choose to exclude themselves. And instead of joining the larger community, bonding with and isolating themselves with kinship and family groups that they see as most like themselves. Who is our community? Is it the people you sat with at a table today? Is it our neighborhood? Is it Webster Groves? Is it 63119? Is it St. Louis? All those questions were in the air that day. And 2 Webster faculty members moderated the small groups and reported out. Dr. Basir Rodney concluded that there are deep pockets of divide. Dr. Eric Riney extended the questions about community to ask, who is the us and who is the them? It has all left me wondering, frankly, if it is possible for many identities to feel welcomed and valued in ways that form and build community. Can diversity truly be the strength of a community? Or can true community only be found with those who are most like ourselves? What makes us other to everyone else and to each other? And if, as a moderator at the forum advanced, every single one of us has privileges and every single one of us has biases, what does it mean to be a neighbor? Well, the conversations begun at that forum will continue in partnership with another Webster Groves organization called the Alliance for Interracial Dignity. I attended their meeting just last night on the topic of racial disparities in savings and wealth. These meetings will continue, and they are drawing quite a crowd, and I invite you to be part of those along with me. On a related note, I'm pleased to let you know that just last week, Assistant Principal John Thomas from Webster Groves High School reached out to me, inviting us to collaborate, to equip our students to navigate this community of deep divides. I welcome your participation. Well, at last spring's convocation, if you'll recall, Julian and Nicole Roach and I talked about the topic of diversity and inclusion. At that point, we were telling you about the 2-day forum that we had organized February 29th and March 1st, called Critical Conversations Embracing Diversity and Inclusion. Over 350 people came to that 2 days of conversation, many from this campus, but also the broader community. And we've have feedback from them. Everyone who gave us an email, who participated, received a survey, and from that feedback, we're shaping the next two-day forum, March 1st and 2nd, 2017. What did participants tell us? They told us that they valued engaging with their colleagues. They urged us to continue having these hard conversations, and they told us what, of course, we all know, that we still have a lot to learn. From Webster's inception, we have purposely opened worlds to our students that were previously closed to them. Our student body is increasingly become more diverse. We are, across the Webster University community and within each campus, a microcosm of the world. Yet, as Deborah Gillis, the CEO of Catalyst, has declared, diversity is a fact. Inclusion is a choice. It causes me to wonder about Webster again. We have intentionally increased our diversity of students, faculty, and staff. Have we intentionally become more inclusive? Our new strategic plan commits us to developing globally inclusive leadership, all of us, students, alumni, faculty, staff. The choice to include and the choice to lead in globally inclusive ways rests with each one of us and with each of our students. Inclusion is everyone's work. How can we make progress on this continuous path to equity? We can build on the knowledge we already hold, seeking to learn from each other and with each other. And we can take action on specific areas of concern. And here are some examples of commitments that we made in December 2015 and what's been done. We have enhanced the diversity and inclusion website, a work that is done virtually daily. We held the first two-day forum. The second one is already scheduled. And we have increased the funding for diversity and inclusion initiatives. We committed to improving the signage and creating a map for more all-gender facilities. We have identified space for interfaith use. Expect to see a Webster Today story and more press about that next week. Temporarily, it will be located on the Eden property, and then next year we will move it to a more central location after ISB opens. And we have launched the diversity and inclusion working groups that began in the spring and will conclude by December. Well, those working groups that we formed have made progress in the short time of the spring semester and the summer. And we can see who the co-chairs are, but that, of course, doesn't tell us all the many, many people on campus that have been part of the effort and will be as it goes forward. But I can share some highlights with you. Curriculum possibilities for LGBTQ courses and programs are moving to Curriculum Committee this fall. Program development is also underway for Afro-American studies. Data have been gathered and benchmarked about our employee hiring and policies, and we have learned much more about funding for students by race and ethnicity. Expect that you will hear more about the progress of the working groups as we move through the fall semester, and I look forward to their recommendations, which we will receive in December. Again, I want to thank the co-chairs and the members of these groups and all who have embraced inclusion as their work. And particularly, I would like to call out Danny McCartney, who has co-chaired one of these groups and will be on leave this fall, but I'm grateful for those who will pick up that work and carry it forward. Well, as another way to continue our learning, because we will commit to more learning, we will soon issue invitations to faculty and staff, not just here in St. Louis, but worldwide, to join what we're calling Critical Conversations reading groups. These are going to be based on the readings that have been selected for the first-year experience common readings and the crossing border resources that have been provided by Bethany Keller and her colleagues. So my thanks to Carol Williams and her advisory committee for the first-year experience, who will help us frame and organize voluntary reading groups that will deepen our content knowledge about these topics. Stigma and bias. It is in part because of our lack of knowing each other and having genuine relationships with each other that we fall into traps. Traps of using labels as cognitive shortcuts that convey generalizations, often, frankly, devaluing ones, about groups of individuals. We can see that, can't we, in everyday public discourse and media accounts? These labels, based on a small amount of information, sometimes with questionable validity, convey assumptions and values that limit our ability to know the complexity of individuals within groups. As I have been spending more time reading about stigma and bias, I am more aware today of how destructive it can be in surprising ways. For example, the assumption, which many people hold, is that lung cancer is the exclusive disease of smokers. It's not true, but it's a commonly held assumption. And so that stigma and bias limits investment in research to treat lung cancer, because people who are willing to invest in groundbreaking research for cancer treatments too often make the next leap, which is, well, that's a self-inflicted disease. If they just didn't smoke, they wouldn't get it, so we don't need to research treatment for that. It's not too hard for us to remember, is it? The stigma attached to HIV/AIDS, which delayed necessary resolve to arrest that epidemic through education and treatment options. And in fact, as I am learning more in my conversations with Richard Gant, who serves as a UN AIDS HIV ambassador, the goal that the United Nations set of ending all infection, death, and discrimination by HIV/AIDS by 2030 is seriously in jeopardy. He and his colleagues are planning to start a national campaign and a global campaign to increase education about practices that can lead to HIV/AIDS and how to treat it more effectively, based here in Missouri and in Africa. He's approaching us to consider and explore whether Webster might be a great academic partner in a humanitarian cause of this type. And if you're interested in learning more about this, reach out to me. Well, as I've been talking with many of you about this topic of bias, particularly those implicit biases that have been so much a topic of concern, it occurs to me, as I said initially, that bias can take on positive dimensions when we make the unconscious conscious. I propose then that we should each identify for ourselves the biases that are the productive ones in our personalities, name them and claim them, and advance them at every opportunity. Thinking back to when I interviewed here, more than 7 years ago now, I perceived as I interacted with this community that Webster had a bias, and it was a bias toward a global mindset. I responded to many, many questions about my experiences abroad, what languages I spoke, how had I worked with a globally diverse student body. I was asked to describe my ideas for how to capitalize on Webster's global focus. It was my perception and my belief through those interactions that the 4 core values in the strategic plan that were developed by this university community were the Webster biases: students, learning, diversity, global citizenship. And that belief is confirmed and affirmed again and again as I interact with Webster colleagues. This summer, an impassioned Erin Bullerdick, speaking to students and families in the Transitions program, which we have designed for conditionally admitted students, said to those families and those students when they completed the program, "It matters to me personally that each of you succeeds. It matters to me personally that each of you succeeds." That's a bias that I hope we all feel. It's that kind of spirit and that kind of bias for student success that in the Transitions program has resulted in a successful effort that has not only closed the gap between the conditional and the full admits, but the conditional admits now have a more successful retention rate than the full admits. That's remarkable. And that's the result of naming a bias and letting that positive bias compel your action. I can name several of my biases, and those of you who know me well will recognize them. I am biased for working a plan. I'm biased for getting things done. I'm biased toward a belief that time is not our friend and that any challenge we have, there's some urgency in addressing it. I'm biased in favor of engaging the world rather than trying to hide from it. Again, a bias that Webster has encouraged in me. I am for Webster, all of Webster, first and foremost. It is my bias that the answer to the question, who is my neighbor, must be a global one and a local one. We need to connect our work to the work of the world. And the shortcuts that are present when limiting and negative assumptions are made about individuals and groups, their gender, their race, their age, their religion, their place of birth, their ability and disability are with us all the time. And they result not only in disparate treatment and different opportunities, they can and do result in outright disparagement and death. Without regard for individuals, wearing the uniform is enough to create victims. And the uniform takes many forms: one's race, one's religion, one's gender, one's class, one's discipline, one's career. While stigma and bias are generally talked about in the traditional concerns and sphere of diversity and inclusion, I find it everywhere. Think about the meanings and generalizations, the values attached to some labels we all use: faculty, staff, student, full-time, part-time, adjunct, administration, first-generation commuter, transfer student, American, immigrant, refugee, liberal, conservative. The list goes on and on and on. That's why it is so important for us to interact with one another in ways that make knowledge of each other extend beyond those easy shorthand labels. The limitation of what we don't know limits our ability to succeed at Webster and as Webster. Over the summer, as I read many analyses of what had been happening in the Brexit vote and that initiative, one of the commentaries I read posed an interesting question to express this very idea. Used a Kipling quote. Now, certainly Kipling's notion of global citizenship, we know, was imperial, with Great Britain at the center. But he was a world traveler, and I think the question and then the variations of it are worthy of our consideration today. So Kipling asked in his 1891 poem, The English Flag, what should they know of England who only England know? Well, in this analysis I read by John Lanchester, unpacking the Brexit vote, he posed a similar question. What do they know of the UK who only London know? And this was his way of unpacking the divergent patterns that resulted in Brexit, and saying, in other words, that London was not very representative of the rest of the UK. Well, so let's take some questions for ourselves. We could ask, what do we know of Webster who only Webster Groves know? What do we know of Webster who only Fort Leavenworth know? Or Chengdu? Irvine? Or the online community? From the time I first arrived here at Webster, I found very quickly that our lack of mobility, our lack of movement, our lack of interaction with others limits our knowledge of Webster. And like all shorthands of knowledge and all shortcuts of knowledge, leads to those negative biases, negative about what I don't know, positive about what I do. And that, incidentally, is again why it's strategically important for us to get out and move, whether it's here in Webster Groves or whether it's across campuses, and the same for our students. If we're going to know a larger world, whether it's the world of Webster or the world at large. But this isn't only geography. It's not only about places that these stigmas and biases come from lack of knowledge and lack of relationship. So we could ask these questions. What do we know of Webster who only our department know? Or only our college, or only our building, our unit, only our majors? With greater intention to include, to build community, it is my belief that we will gain more knowledge and more appreciation and more respect for the true diversity of perspectives and thoughts and experiences that each one of us brings to Webster University. Our strategic plan, Global Impact for the Next Century, focuses on just such themes and activities for good reason. To give you a few examples, innovating through inclusive leadership, assuring the global mobility and diversity of our students and ourselves, designing student experience for action-oriented learning, and strengthening our collaboration across disciplines and campuses. The benefits of a Webster education must be inclusively excellent, transformative, and highly impactful for each and every Webster student. We will be better able to address the challenges that Webster faces if we resist disrespecting, devaluing, and disunity, when what this Webster University community most needs is to affirm that we are all in this together. We will need unity of purpose and resolve to seize opportunities that are present for Webster and to deal with the challenges that we face. We are all Webster. We are all Webster. My bias and my intention that we will become more fully Webster, transforming ourselves for individual excellence and global citizenship. We are all Webster. Have a great fall semester.